Welcome to Affiliate Nerd Out. I am your nerderator, Dustin House, spreading that good word about affiliate marketing. You're going to find me on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoon on LinkedIn Live and wherever you find your podcast. So please consider subscribing and hearing more from my affiliate nerd guests. And my guest of the day is Brian Hawkins, longtime affiliate manager. He's going to be talking about the mattress industry and how dirty it is. And I'm so glad to have you, Brian. Thanks for joining us and welcome to the Nerdatorium.
All right, I'm ready to take the hot seat here. I'm on beautiful Nantucket Island, enjoying a little bit of nice weather here, but glad to take a break and be able to join the crew here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time, and I'm glad to have you. You've been in this industry a long time, and we're ready to hear about your side of things. We've got some similar backgrounds, but you're in some of those verticals that I've never touched before, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But if you would like to ask me and Brian any questions, jump on the live Q&A, throw it in the chat, and heckle us a little bit if you'd like. Please, Brian, tell me, who are you?
Sure. Well, I think I'm a dad. I'm a weekend warrior where I busted my knee twice. First time basketball, second time sliding in softball, and then third time, I think, just walking in the outfield. I had an MRI a couple of weeks ago and trying to see if I hopefully don't have a third knee surgery.
Goodness.
But definitely have travel is a bug in me. I've been able to travel, live abroad, definitely enjoy the side of adventure. And then I've been an old-time SEO person, and the affiliate industry has been good to me since 2006. And so I've been always an affiliate manager. I majored in entrepreneurship, but I always wanted to be on the affiliate side, but I ended up just being a people person. I love the relationships and getting out to all the affiliate summits and just chatting away and talking strategy.
Well, I only invite people into this podcast, which is why you're here. We've met briefly throughout the years at affiliate summits and always had a pleasant conversation. I'm glad you can come here and tell us all about what you're doing. If you'd like to learn more about Brian or see his LinkedIn profile, I put it in the chat box, so grab it there. Now, Brian, we're talking about the mattress industry, and one of the I don't usually put this at the top, but I really want to hear what your defense of your quote here on LinkedIn is. You had the challenge is the mattress industry always has a sale. Somehow it's always the best sale ever. It's like a rug store that's still going out of business 5 years later. Love that quote. I think it rings true. I'm not in that industry too much, but I think it's very apparent by when you drive down by the warehouse area of town, you can always see everything's going out of business all the time. So defend your post here.
Sure. So, it's a challenge in the mattress space here. It's always the best sale ever. And that's a proof to A/B testing. A/B testing has proved that ad copy works. It's always, been how truthful it is, and how could it always be the best sale ever? That's a question, but consumers want to see that and kind of value that. And in the mattress space, people are trained like 5 times out of the year to be able to buy. Memorial Day, Labor Day, President's Day, all these different weekends that some people trash talk why you're promoting over our national holidays here, but it works. People are trained to then wait, and that must be the time to buy. And so that's kind of, there's a huge PR push, and it's trained in consumer behavior, and it's not going away. As much as the sale is great on a non-holiday, consumers are looking at that to be able to purchase.
Oh, looks like we got another guest here. Did you bring on another guest? Oh, I lost you.
Okay, dogs are going crazy here, but perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Awesome. Well, the mattress industry in itself, kind of unique. I remember going to mattress stores and it's one of those products like I won't buy without going and trying it out. Just like shoes. I won't buy shoes online because I want to try shoes on and make sure they fit comfy. And I've always thought of the same way in the mattress industry, but I was proven wrong. Like, can you tell me a little bit of the history of like how this got so aggressive online?
Sure. So the shipping model really changed here when it became a mattress in a box. So you had these big brands that really kind of created the model and kind of had these sleep trials. Don't worry about it. Try it for 100 nights.
Yeah,
And so the shipping, the availability, the convenience, it all picked up in demand, and people are online. They're more used to it, and it's a product that you think you have to try. You have to go into the store, but people don't like salespeople. People don't want to be sold to, and so going
hmm,
into a store, having somebody hovering over you, having that awkward experience, and COVID was really a huge opening to it here. So
cool.
the market shift, 50% more people were buying online. They weren't going to store. Obviously, they couldn't for a while, and then eventually they just didn't want to. It became the norm here. So you went to a market that got saturated. There's over 175 brands that have a mattress in a box, and
Hmm.
price points,
Oh my
all
gosh.
over, the space here, and all offering different incentives and lifetime warranty and all these different things to be able to address that pain point and that concern of like you don't have to go to a store to be able to experience. We can navigate. You can take this quiz. You can talk to a sleep expert online. You can chat. And so the consumer behavior switched in that model, and the business was booming. People weren't traveling. People were home. Uh, those stimulus checks were great. You were seeing 9% conversion rates. For a while, people had money to spend, and the industry really took off in home goods. The selling point of being in stock was that's all you needed for a while. So the market quite shift. Now consumers are more aware. They're taking time. People don't understand, why is there a mattress store in each corner? Why is there more mattress stores than Starbucks? It's a high margin business. And there was a stat once, there is more of one chain than Starbucks. But and so you can't believe it, and people have all their conspiracy theories on it, but it's a high margin. You only need a few sales to be able to keep the lights on, and so both models work here. It's just meeting the consumers of where they're at and building that trust.
Yeah, I had no idea. You threw out a number of 175 businesses that are selling matches online. That's insane.
Yeah, so it really picked up. So obviously there were certain brands in the beginning, your Casper, your Purples, that kind of really spent huge, money to be able to build the awareness,
Hmm.
and then people kind of piggybacked on that.
Ah,
Now what you're seeing in this year is a lot of merger and acquisition. So you're seeing some people that just didn't survive, they consolidated with brands, and so that number's coming down a bit because it's a cutthroat business here. When you think of like the top, when you want to step up your affiliate game,
hmm,
mattress space is one of the ones where you see some really smart marketers. If you think VPN, meal delivery, a lot of the virus protection, different stuff here that has high margin. It's a cutthroat world here, but you really kind of see what works. So
yeah.
it's exciting as a marketer. That excites me, seeing the strategy and seeing what people do to make a buck. It's interesting space.
Yeah, and it's also odd. Like I'm on TikTok every day, and I'm on Instagram, and I never see affiliates like buying space in the mattress world. They're always like physical products, but which seems really odd because I'm in bed a lot of the time when I'm watching TikTok. Like it would make a lot of sense to be tapping into that mattress, getting a new mattress. Like you could even talk to the person and themselves, like, "Hey, how comfy are you? 1 to 10 right now. Like, come check out these mattresses." I don't know why it's not there, but it seems to not have like jumped into that space. But what I have seen in the past is like the cost per click in the aggressive Google market is astronomical in that space. Is that still true?
Definitely. So it's definitely people are going after more social media, but the key here is building that third party trust. Having somebody who's an influencer that actually
Hmm.
has weight to be able to connect with people, and then that really creates that higher conversion rate. It's the reason why you can't list in any popular podcast and not hear a mattress brand being the sponsor of it.
Yes.
It's when the podcaster has that really connection with that audience, and they're able to promote the brand and kind of build that and get people over kind of questionable, hump of who that brand is and build that trust. And so it does convert twice as much. And I think social media is picking up, but you have such a short time to make that impression, whereas a podcast, and when you're sponsoring it over a long time, you kind of build that brand. And so when somebody is in that sleep, that pain point, that, it's been 7 or 10 years, this mattress is getting lumpy. But it's tough, it's a lifetime value that the customer's not going to, as long as the product's good, they shouldn't need to come back for another 10 years.
Sure.
But it's the timing of the market. 1 in 10 people should need a new sleep product to be able to sleep better.
And so you were in the podcast realm at all, like sending, because I've heard plenty of podcasts that are promoting some kind of bed, and they almost always talk about firsthand experience. Like, this company sent me a mattress, I slept on it and absolutely love it. I'll never give it up. And that's basically the same message. Is that the same kind of strategy? You would always give them away for free and then have them talk about their experience?
So it's tough when you're in a space with a high ticket. You're getting dozens and dozens of people asking you for a free mattress, thousands of dollars here. And so you have to kind of weigh out, who has an audience, who makes sense and who be able to connect. And then, having them try the product, I'd rather have them take the same offer that we're sponsoring them and actually, buy it than just give it to them and actually have them, be able to vouch for it. But it's building that win-win or that hybrid model to be able to work with. So you're not just paying sponsorship dollars, they're really invested, and working together. And that's, it's a challenge because podcasts used to be a cheap CPM. It used to be $2, $5, quickly went to 20, 40. And so you had to get clever with working with them and understanding kind of each other's goals and kind of being a long-term sponsor.
Yeah. And that, a couple of really great things I want to dig into there. The one about, oh man, I lost it. The influencers, how are you judging whether or not you decide who you're going to give that mattress to? What are like some of those numbers that you were constantly working with?
So I've got dogs growing here. I'm going to have the dog join the show here to shut him up here.
I hear him. All right. And while we wait for that, I'm going to do a little dancing just for the video entertainment purposes. I don't know what else to talk about. So, we'll never cut this out. It's live.
Sorry,
all right.
I had to bring in here. So Roscoe is barking away here. So for influencers, you kind of have to figure out who their audience is, what they're targeting, and will they actually go beyond the kind of pre-recorded 30-second and be able to create more of an experience? So will they really connect with the audience, talk about sleep, maybe have a guest on, really create a story and a conversation, and that worked better to be able to convert.
Beautiful. Okay. So you're obviously you evaluate every influencer, like how many followers they have and their engagement on the comments. Any tools that you're using for that to help you evaluate, like a social blade or anything like that?
So use the tools to be able to figure out their engagement rate, how active they are. But really, it's the relationship and the pricing model. A lot of times, the agencies, the brokers, they would mark it up. You're already having to pay them double. So getting the direct relationships, understanding you have a long-term relationship with them, and then making sure that they have a true following, an audience to be able to be sticky. They're kind of core. They're not always flip-flopping with different brands. But, in the example of kind of the My Pillow guy who was very, which you don't want to touch politics in your brand,
Sure.
Conversions actually went up. His traffic went up, his conversions, what you think would actually hurt,
Right.
Any press is good press. And obviously
Sure.
to his core audience, it worked and worked great. And so while, I never mixed politics with it, sometimes on Red Conservative, the brand did well. It just depends. It's just as long as the audience is really advocating for who's talking, and then that person is vouching for you, and you have a strong offer and a connection, with them, and maybe some kind of giveaway. You connected in their social. It's that top of the funnel, that brand awareness that people are banner blind as the other ways of doing marketing just wasn't working as well when you're selling a high ticket product.
For sure, and that. That right side, the conservative side of things on the politics are consumers. Like you'll see that pretty consistently, like in the VPN space. huge. That was a really big winning campaign in the VPN space when I was working with it, to secure your assets, and talking to that more conservative side of the folks, and security products in general, altogether, good side. But segmenting into that, talking about like marketing genius or lack thereof, whatever you want to call it. What about Mattress Mac? There's no way I'm going to talk about mattresses and not talk about this guy who I think is an absolute genius. You want to tell the story about Mattress Mac and what he is in your
Sure.
industry?
Well, I'll relate it being a New England guy here. So, I mean,
Okay.
if you look at his old commercials, I grew up in the tri-state area. We had Crazy Eddie, Crazy Eddie sales. Come on down,
Okay.
you walk in, the first 100 people get a free VHS tape. And so his early commercials it just remind me of Crazy Eddie if you're in the tri-state area. But really what connected though was, the humanity, the cause. And really, it was a betting insurance model that he had. He said, if the Texas Rangers,
No, it's Astros.
Oh,
It's
Astros. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, as the story goes. Can't hear you.
So if they win, they can be able to play off the benefit of it here. Sorry, grab the dog here again.
It's all right. I'll take over this story. So the Astros, Mattress Mac's a big Astros fan, and he tells everybody in that Houston area, come in and buy a mattress. If Houston Astros win the World Series, it's on me.
Yeah,
and then he sells all these mattresses. People are thinking, hey, I've got a free mattress if Houston doesn't win the World Series. But if Houston ends up winning the World Series, he hedges this giant bet in Vegas for millions and millions of dollars, so that he essentially breaks even. So he finishes his sale, and then he goes to Vegas, has PR all over this, like highlighting all of this. Just a complete brilliant PR strategy. What else can you tell me, Brian?
So the model there, he actually had to pay more as he kept buying out all the inventory because he was betting for them to win, and there was not enough people betting against. So as he spent, he had to be able to kind of play the odds, but he was always having that backup. So in Boston, where I am, we have Jordan's Furniture, and they were betting on the Red Sox, and it was always the Red Sox never won the World Series, and so they always had this bet: if the Red Sox win, and for a while, people, you get all your furniture for free. Nobody ever believed it, and so when the Red Sox became good, they won, they got a ton of press, and then they got to so good, it had to be like, if you hit a home run and if it hit this spot in the backfield, the insurance companies were like actually saying, well, it's getting a little too risky, because us Red Sox, we have a lot of Boston parades, and they were betting against, and so then people were like not as invested in it, but it was fun to be able to buy furniture with the chance that the thousands of dollars that you spent might be able to get back. And then his humanity that he's done in the city and so many good things. He actually has tons of food when you go in there. He'll even leave Cheetos out. And I would not want to own a furniture store and have Cheetos and all like Doritos and be like, sure, just go ahead. But it's just that trust, and people respect it, and the community really got behind him. And it's a product that people don't typically have trust. And when you have trust, you have sales. And he just, it's one of the challenges in marketing, because as a marketing guy, I love cause marketing, but people sniff through it right away. People know cause marketing is, it's not as genuine, but he, was truly genuine here and what he did for his community and the success here. But the commercials feel like Crazy Eddie from the beginning.
Yeah. and just to, showcase what is cause marketing for those that might not know, that's when you're giving a percent of your sales to some kind of charity. You might be working with an affiliate that is giving 2% to the charity of all their commissions. It might be in your website that you're showcasing, we're giving away 10% of the net profit to this charity this month or throughout the year, whatever. I mean, that's cause marketing for those that aren't familiar with it. But it's super brilliant. Love it. But just such a great story. I always like talking baseball, and that's a great story that I hear about every year, because the Astros are really good and relevant right now, and so he's been a hot topic for the last maybe like 7 years or so. Pivoting conversations, what is it like working in a tough niche? Like, I've been in hosting, which is relatively difficult. I've been in VPN, which is pretty aggressive, but nothing anywhere touching what mattress is
It's
like.
funny because I think those spaces are pretty competitive, on their own.
Really?
But yeah, mattress definitely has the industry norm here. So you get to see some smart marketers here, and so it starts with some kind of shady, that they're doing more duplicate content. They're doing kind of what this whole AI is really picking up. And so they're building out sites by the masses and going long tail and just taking what they can to be able to win in search. And then you have, big media people that are strong in media buying. And then you have the true kind of SEO and the content and the strategy behind it. And that's been where the review sites used to do well in 2019, and then the PR, the big media sites really came in. And so for me, the big change was I used to do a lot of business deals where it's all commission, payout, earnings per click. It's a very business world, and it was where does your program stand to the 20 other products that I can promote? And what changed in these conglomerates of these big PR media sites, there's about 17 companies that own 3 billion clicks, a month, all the big sites that are out there by Hearst, Condé Nast, they own the traffic here. And so those style listicles had the authority in Google. And so those really took out the rankings. And what happened is the conversation if I had with the business team, we'd be looking at huge deals, but the business team didn't quite have editorial integrity. They didn't quite have, they weren't the final decision maker, but they were quick to get into your pockets. Whereas the editors, you could win on editorial integrity, and that was a beautiful space when you don't have to always pay the highest payout, but they're huge on deadline, they're bombarded. You have to be a resource for them, and that's where, for me, the industry changed from being a business guy relationship to being a PR person. Just like that quote that you showed, I became a PR person to be available for journalists to quote and become a sleep expert. So. But you become a resource of, what stats do you need? Images, storyline, quotes, because they all have a deadline. They all need a certain amount of quotes. And what sites were doing now is that they wanted, medical sleep experts. They wanted doctors to be able to. So bringing in people that had that high, what Google calls the EEAT authority, they needed that because whatever journalist it gets assigned to them, I need to have 2 doctors. I need to have, this quote, and I need these stats. And, a lot of people were cutting corners using kind of crappy AI to create these quotes. And so, you had to be able to make sure to build that relationship with them. And the editors were tough. I mean, you don't get a response. It's kind of like a black box. You're kind of sending in, and then you get published. And, there was no communication, but you were there at the right time, the right place, with the right messaging. And it got you published here. And so it was weird where some of them you kind of built that relationship to, but some of them you didn't. You just knew, you just knew when their deadlines are, and you knew how to be helpful and to get their inbox, at the right time. And
that's so smart. Editors can be a tricky relationship, right? Like, this niche that you're working with them might not work on your next client or vertical, right? But they're good contacts to have, and especially to make good friends with in the future, especially if they're at one of those big listicles that you're talking about.
So that's where it helps, because if I talk to the business team, they would be like, they'd want your commission to be tripled. I'm like, well, I've already had the relationship with the editors. I don't need to triple our commission. I'm already, kind of taking them out of the middle process. But then, of course, business team do have opportunities that are pay to play that help. But I think kind of that story here is these last 5 Google updates really changed it here. So a lot of the crazy stuff that you had. I'm sorry, I'm afraid to put the dog down here. He barks again. Who's on the call here?
Don't be afraid.
Right,
he's a great addition
to the group. Okay. But that really changed with these Google updates. So now the review sites are coming back in. They're really looking for people that have authority. They have medical proof. They've been published on high authority sites. And so the
Hmm.
listicles are having a hard time. They're starting to pull back. And so review sites are coming in, and they should be. They've had the authority. They have a garage full of mattresses that they've actually reviewed. And so I think it's changing. It's going to be interesting how it plays out, though. But as an affiliate manager, you have to be able to understand the growth marketing side, the strategy, and knowing, okay, how can you be supportive? What can you offer that the other people aren't to be able to
There you
make their
go.
job easier and build that relationship? And it's not always having to be the highest payout. It's
Yes.
understanding what their challenges are and how to be a resource. And for me, you earn more, you give more than you take, and
There you go.
eventually they come back and help you out.
I mean, if you don't have the top name on the charts and in the industry, it is really hard to grind your way up. But it makes you such a better affiliate
Yeah,
manager
yeah.
in the
Because
long run.
the
Like,
ones that are at the top, they're just brand protectors. There's some of them that are just
yeah,
they're just policing the affiliates because they have the brand and they just want to make sure who's camping on it, who's not. But when you're like Avis, we try harder. When you're a few down below and you got to hustle. You don't just have all
yeah,
brand to play off. Then you really have to be able to make sure. You're helping them in a bigger picture, and
yeah.
that's kind of a neat part of that relationship to figure out that win-win together.
Yeah, and with the 175 companies that you're competing against, you've got to get scrappy and finding and tweaking those offers to the affiliates to get them to come to your team. It can be very difficult. So let's talk a little bit further into that. What's that message that you're reaching out to publishers? Is it giving them free mattresses to test out? Is it saying something funny?
Sure.
What's your technique?
So the company I was before was in voice over IP, a SaaS product. I built it up to 21,000 affiliate partners. Some affiliate networks don't even have 21,000 affiliates, and so over time was actually adding a lot of people to Impact when it was in its early days. And that
Hmm.
strategy was multicultural marketing. So that was actually taking all the different ethnic groups and building out a Spanish campaign, a Portuguese, and having, okay, where's that audience that hangs out online, and then figuring out, okay, where's those community sites to be able to do. And that was a lot of like virtual assistants, outreach, building a connection, and just building a large pipeline. In the mattress space, there's kind of, you can look at the traffic, you can use similar web data, you kind of know where traffic's moving out of those 175, who's getting what piece of the pie. And so you kind of already
Okay.
figure out it's not 21,000, it's hundreds, it's in the hundreds to 1,000 of kind of who the players are in the space.
Difference makers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's figuring out, okay, how can you be an asset, to them to be able to open that conversation. And it's, some will take right away, but they're just seeing, how strong of a payout. Others, you have to keep knocking. But for me, it was always being a coach, being somebody that came from a growth marketing role before, understand the marketing side. I love the affiliate side of it, and just being helpful as a resource. Like, hey, have you thought of this strategy? Have you done this? Without giving away other affiliate partners. The tough thing as affiliate manager is that you got to coach, but you can't be the rat against your other affiliates here. Like it gets around pretty quick if you're sharing your other partner strategies and things, because you lose the trust,
Absolutely.
with them to be a resource. So that's what helped me to kind of build that connection with them. But yeah, humor helps. Everybody hears my dog story, my kids, everything from the family, the relationship, and just be personable. And be helpful to be able to make that connection. I understand they're busy, they got other stuff, but just to be a resource, because when you look at your week over week, your month over month reports, when you drop the ball, they might be off your weekly report, your monthly report, and one of those other 20 brands took care of them a little bit better, and that sucks when
Yeah.
when you lose them because you drop the ball. And so you can't drop the ball. You got to be able to be on top of them, because something's going to happen. They're going to find a stronger payout, something else. To be able to work with, especially on the top volume ones. And that's why it's key as an affiliate to have your tiers and not have all your eggs in
Okay.
one basket. So you've got your
Yeah.
top 5, your 10, but they say it's an 80-20 rule. Maybe it's more like 95-5. But,
Sure.
you don't want to lose one of those big fish. And, depending on the space you're in, especially like I imagine meal delivery, when the VC money was pretty strong, whoever had the most excess money to spend, got the traffic, but they weren't
Hmm.
buying it at what a reasonable acquisition cost was. And so sometimes you have to give up partners because you can't beat it.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
challenge.
yeah, just emphasizes the importance of continuing to recruit and walking that fine balance of keeping the good relationships that you have existent. Because if you lose one of those big guys, you better have some backups coming in. And I absolutely love that message of coming from a place of help first. I love that message that you're, help the affiliates be successful in any way you can, and they're going to in turn help you look good in the long run. So great message there. I'm going to pivot into the sponsor of the day here. And we're talking about publishers. So why not make it Publisher Discovery? This is one of my favorite tools out there for discovering the best affiliates to work with in the vertical you're in. You can use this tool in the mattress space to find out who owns the real estate on Google and who you should be reaching out to. And then you can cater that message to finding those players and the right contact at the company. Publisher Discovery helps you make that process a whole lot easier and keep track of it with a nice CRM in boot. So go to dustinhouse.com/PD.
And where were
Right.
those tools in 2006 when I started? It was,
No,
it's all
they
plug
did not
and play.
exist.
We had to like hack the system, figure out, okay, this is the tracking, this is this. If I reverse engineer it, I can figure out. And now that's just plug and play to be able to find. But the information's there. It's just crazy how fast and automate you can do it. It's just you got to humanize the process, though.
Absolutely. I mean, you can use all the tools you want to find and help automate that in a little bit of sense, but you will never be able to master outreach without personality and warmth and catering that message to the person you're reaching out to. Just what you were talking about, like you've got to be personable in this industry, and these tools help, but in 2006, it was a whole lot more labor intensive for those affiliate managers. Now let's turn gear. I know you're a nerd about SEO and affiliate. Tell me, where do you see the biggest overlap in this industry? But before I get into that, I want to ask you one specific question. Do you think there's any SEO value in affiliate links?
So there's a debate with that, definitely.
Sure.
Does it get hidden? Does it get taken away? Are you building? I think overall, though, you are building traffic, you are building authority, you are showing activity. If it's balancing out the SEO traffic that you have, it's showing that you're actually building a brand. And so once you have kind of authority with a brand, you kind of win some of those non-best of terms. So it's a piece of the puzzle that should be explored. How much weight is put into it? It's the same, it's a question of a do follow, no follow, an affiliate link. Some people say, well, what if I use Google UTM and then I pay out my partners without affiliate links, and then I can get around it, and then maybe I'll get some more juice. Or you do direct links. Some of the networks have that you can do a direct link off yours. That maybe that does. It's questionable that will. I think eventually, if the domain gets expired and people are looking to buy expired domains, how much would that website sell for if it's affiliate links that are still left? Versus real SEO links. And so, the market, the conditions, the SEO gurus out there haven't quite put affiliate links as a value to say, but everything has a value. It's still building traffic. It still should be 20% of your business and if Google's figuring out you're a brand to be that's recognized, you should have those relationships.
Okay. Fair enough. I mean, it's a question throughout my 13 years I've heard time and again, and nobody has a good answer.
Okay, all right.
You can have two different SEO experts on a panel, and they will say the exact same opposite. You never get the true evidence, because the reality is nobody really knows. But as Google continues to pivot and become a bigger affiliate in the world of affiliate, it's going to be a little bit scary on what they value as they're choosing the algorithm to begin with, but are affiliate links going to lose or gain value? To be determined. Who knows, man?
I don't know. I worked for two SEO agencies before my affiliate world, and before it was a lot of magic, black hat stuff they used to get away with, and now it's just common sense. It's doing good for your consumers. We would sell, witchcraft, which really just meant we'd switch your title tags to win the traffic, but they didn't know, and it was,
keyword stuff behind the white.
Yeah, it was, pretty crazy there. I was in it in 2004 for an agency, but I mean, there's clean stuff too, but it was just, the game was just way different. And now it's just put your eyes on a consumer, what's the best for the consumer, the experience, and Google is supposed to be doing good. So I think if you keep that mindset, I think links will kind of help the playing field, because now it's tough because the AI is just making your topical authority. You can build out these mega sites so fast. Now with like ZimWriter and these tools, I mean, affiliate sites can be overnight 50,000 pages. That used to be, you had to have $50,000. So the model is switched. It's really, who's the authority on it. And I think when people have tested hiring different writers, and if you hire a writer, you have their name and they have a LinkedIn profile that they're an expert on this, they published in Forbes and this, that article will rank higher because Google has tagged them as an expert, versus if you hire a ghostwriter. So there's something to be said, name to a face and what their story is, and have they earned links and authority in other topical places. And so this is where, like, kind of that personal development of becoming a topical expert and having yourself being published as content is going to really pick up, because now you're showing the Google gods you're the authority on this. And if you become published somewhere else, but you've got a Forbes mention or somewhere that's related to it, I think that's where eventually they can beat out the AI and figure out who's who, to give some authority, and hopefully not just be these big PR mega, media sites that are earning the listicles right now.
Yeah. Dude, that's such a nice tidbit of information there. I love that, using the WordPress gravatar and using the name of the person who is guest posting, who has authority throughout the internet, that is going to get picked up a lot easier. That's an incredibly helpful tip for all those SEOs out there, and for affiliate managers that are looking to learn about more SEO, which you absolutely need to get better at this job.
And you see it in the mattress space there. You see people building out their bio pages will have 50 experts, sleep experts. There's some of these ones that are like, I'm a medical surgeon by day, but I review mattresses at night. And you're like, I don't know. But they're building a fake review site, but they're trying to show those nuggets, and people are doing that with fake, to be able to respond to PR requests. So it gets shady on the other side, but it works if the shady side is doing it as well, to try to clean up their act, even though it's not.
Man, I need to be leveraging. I do a lot of guest posting, and I need to be leveraging that aspect of my gravatar, being that, I have some good domain authority with my own websites. Great hint there, man. Pivoting again, I know you're an attribution nerd. In your mind, what do you think the perfect setup is in the affiliate world? What do you like to do for attribution?
So this is a hot button that's really tough because the networks haven't been able to solve. Like Impact has these really cool reports you can be able to show as a top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, close, but then you can't reward them. You can do it manually, but it's not automated. Partnerize. I tried to find a network that had a good attribution where you could reward based on where did they come in the sale, because programs that are on last click, it just rewards for the last visitor. And so first click is always the more value. They're the ones actually kind of educating the consumer on it. And so I think eventually attribution is going to be key. If you can be able to reward and slice the pie 4 ways, now your EPCs and who's being of value, just like when you had Adam Rainier on it, they actually decided to close a program because we're paying 20% of our business, and this is business we already would have gotten. And I think every partner has a place, every publisher has a value in that supply chain, but it's figuring out that attribution. And one of the things as a publisher to figure out with a merchant is what value you're bringing to them. And this is where I kind of wanted to end on kind of a pet peeve that I have in the industry, is that I'd
Yeah.
be talking to publishers and they're like, well, I'm getting 3 times the payout with this merchant. And I'm like, well, have you really looked at it apples to apples? I don't want to say anything, but if you look at the payouts and the structures, what's their return policy? How much are you hitting returns? Because you have you're not getting paid until this 100 sleep trial. What's the cookie
Sure.
window? How many clicks per day, per 24 hours, per time window are in the cookie pool? What's in the cookie pool? One of the things that they can be doing is they could be adding all their clicks from their SEO, their PPC, and they're adding those into the first click pool or their other publishers. And so now you're competing against the own brand when it's not quite a fair playing field to be able to look at. And then this is the one that really hits me here is if they say they're a first click, but then you find out that they're on a cashback site and it's a cashback site that only allows last click publishers, what they're doing is they're adding in a subsegment for last click. So it's a huge, because now they can pay a cashback site 5% when they were paying 25% for first click. And so
saved a whole
it
lot of
saved
money,
a whole
right?
lot of money. And so what they're doing is they're playing a margin game where they can wave a high carrot of, we'll pay you hundreds and hundreds of dollars for that first click. But now, it's the scrub rule, the TLC, no scrub. People have a big issue in the lead space about like, hey, my leads are getting scrubbed. Well, actually in the D2C space, your sales are getting scrubbed because they're taking attribution and they're putting in weight to different partners here. And so, one of the things that I would be sharing with people is saying, hey, look who's on this rebate site, that has to offer last click, and they're telling you they're paying you first click. Just think again here, because what you think you're getting now today in sales might not be. And so the publishers know to look at earnings per click, but the daily report doesn't mean what you're going to get paid in 180 days from now. And so that was a big thing that I wanted to kind of share on this podcast and team and understand that there's always an apples to apples of how the tracking is set up. And again, it's a relationship, it's a trust, it's that affiliate manager that you're working with of, the programs here. And so, that's sometimes why, the program I'm promoting is number 5 when there's other people in line, just because you have to be able to figure out, what the model is here. So that's going to be kind of my pet peeve in the industry that eventually I think publishers need to be aware of.
Yeah. And for those junior marketers out there that aren't to that level yet, this is a brilliant strategy that Brian's dropping down. Go the extra mile and look into these and evaluate these kind of stats from your affiliates. Create your reports, or even ask somebody else on your team internally to create these kinds of reports that are going to help you evaluate the true value of the affiliates and give you a much better pitch to the affiliates that you're going after. So you can come out there with some ammo.
Yeah,
great
and
point.
The ammo works both ways. It works for the publisher. It also works for the merchant. If a publisher says I want more commission, you can pull the report and say, well, you're not getting me top of the funnel. You're getting me end of the funnel here. You're bidding more on my brand. Here's the percentage of sales. Here's the difference. And if you reward based on the value proposition that they bring, it just has a more fair conversation to try to eventually get to pay for what value that they bring in that process, and from a mutual respect, for both parties.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Brian, we're at time here. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. If you want to talk to Brian and get a hold of him, I am going to put his LinkedIn profile where he can connect and message with him a little bit later. For those of you that are interested, I give away free 15-minute calls to just about anybody on dustinhouse.com/explore. If you want to talk affiliate stuff, if you have any questions, I will give you my time. And if I'm not the right person for the job, I'm going to point you in that right direction. I will be coming back on Thursday, Tuesday, Independence Day. Go America. But on Thursday, I'll be back with Eric Nagel.
Oh, he's awesome. Known him for a long time. Smart guy.
Oh, so smart. And a unique talent in this industry that I'm super excited to have on. And if you would like to join me as a guest, go to dustinhouse.com/nerd or come and poke this QR code here and fill out the form. That's it for us. Thanks for joining us, folks. Brian, appreciate your time, and good luck out there.
All right. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it here. Yeah, feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. Happy to help out in any way.
Fantastic. All right. We'll see you.
All right. Take it easy.